Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 86th episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
So yesterday I was quite ill. Today I'm a little better. Fingers crossed I'll be even better tomorrow. That'd be amazing. So that's why my voice sounds a bit off. We'll see how this goes. It should be interesting. But we have a hell of a lot to cover this week, as I've discussed with Will already. We're going to be discussing something quite old. That happened pretty much 3, maybe longer years ago, and it's based around Minecraft. To do with that's the thing, we all love Minecraft, but I never knew they did this. It's to do with one of the main server plugin systems known as Bukkit back in the day, and we'll be discussing what actually happened to that. We'll also be discussing how I actually ended up finding the patents that Nintendo has claimed against Palworld, so we'll be discussing those in actual detail.
I might cover on that.
Yeah. There's also specialists trying to say, Nintendo's Palworld lawsuit unlikely to do major damage, expert says. I don't know who this fucking expert is, but I don't think he understands much. On top of that, if you follow me or the PandTha Talks channel on Twitter, you'll notice I kind of went on a bit of a posting spree. So we got a few things to cover in that. To do with the day before developers, Fntastic, who are returning, which we got to cover that. That's a mandatory.
Yeah, that's going to be a mess.
As well as that, we also, in there, I also covered some bits to do with Deadlock, Valve's hero shooter, rivaling Overwatch, successfully, might I add. And they've added a new anti-cheat system, which allows users to vote whether to ban a user immediately or turn them into a frog and all they can do is hop around and then ban them at the end of the match. I quite like this. I've got a video for it as well. It's even better. And finally, we'll be discussing someone I didn't expect I'd ever discuss on this channel, Steven Spielberg, who is apparently a PC gamer who doesn't like using a controller.
Doesn't like using a controller?
Yep, doesn't like controllers. He can't give up his keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Oh, yes.
I was telling you about playing Lumincraft yesterday with some, and I was forced to use a controller for us to be able to play because it can only remote play it. And it is just, it's so annoying. Don't get me wrong. It's convenient in some ways that you can sit in so many different positions and sit more comfortably.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not worth the freedom of a mouse, man.
Oh, no, I'm fully with you. It's mental how different it is. But once again, before we start, if you do enjoy, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you do see anything that you think we could improve upon, please do leave it as a comment. Any support?
Feel free to yell at Rory because he gets mad at people who post the articles that we cover.
Yeah, I do. Feel free. Also, feel free to join the Discord that we're usually in. If there are any people that ever join this, we will end up communicating with them, talking, so on and so forth. And we also drop some sources in the research chat occasionally. And anything you'd like to see us cover, you'd also be able to drop resources in different chats for that. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. So I thought we'd start out with the big one. I think we've got to, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
So, to start with, we're going to cover the Nintendo the Nintendo patent infringement lawsuits.
Which is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
If I saw the bits of information that I randomly came across, just because the internet is the internet, correctly, did I see that they made this patent 2 years after the game released?
See, that's the bit that's a little difficult to say. So, as it says here, the patent finally came through.
Well, though, and we saw the times they were made. It was May of this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm sharing now, actually. So, May 2nd, 2024, is when it says it was done, yeah? But according to the actual details, the application was continuous. It was filed in September 21st, 2022, and that was in the US patent application. But the Japanese patent application was actually requested in 2021 and filed in December of 2022. Filed December 22nd of 2021. So they were filed before, but they weren't both accepted and pushed through until May 2nd, 2024.
And when did Palworld release? I'm guessing
Palworld
after those
released in January of 2024, meaning there was no actual way for them to check the patent, in my opinion. The entire content disclosures are incorporated herein by reference. So I can't see. Yeah, it's difficult to check a patent that you don't know exists.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll cover what these patents are. I've seen quite a few memes recently because of this, and I'll cover something to do with them in a little bit because I think it's quite funny. So
you've had a good read through them, so you can summarize the majority of them.
That's the plan.
As we saw, there is actually can't you see how many words there are on this?
On this page?
There's a way for that, isn't there?
Not the easy way, but I can always pull up a fucking.
You saw there from this. Yeah, you can see just how much there is.
Well, let's do a word counter. There's basic ones all over the shop. 28,804 words, 168,522 characters. I feel like I'm going to need to keep that open. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a summary of what we're about to go over, because otherwise we might be here for a few weeks.
So we're not going to touch a lot of this at all, to be honest with you. What we're going to cover is this. Because this pretty much specifies what it is, what it's going to go through, all that sort of stuff. So I'll simplify it after I've read it. That way it makes a bit more sense, because otherwise it will just seem
the way
like
they word it is the way they word it is a complete mess. And you know it's done like that on purpose too.
Oh yeah, they are vague as possible to impact as many things as possible. So in a first mode, an aiming direction in a virtual space is determined based on a second operation input. Basically, you're in first-person view, aiming in a direction in a game, determined based on a second operation input. The second operation input is basically just what you do on your keyboard, mouse, whatever the controller is. Player character is caused to launch in an aiming direction an item that affects a field character disposed on a field in the virtual space. So all that means is basically character throws something in the direction they're looking, and the item affects another character in the game. Based on a third operation input, that basically just means you pressed a button that caused that to throw it, and it affects a character. That's it. In a second mode, the aiming direction is determined based on the second input, and the player character is caused to launch in the aiming direction, a fighting character that fights based on the third operation. Now, this bit will be classified as Pokemon, because obviously you're throwing things out. That bit is correct. This bit would be very similar to Pokemon. But there's a problem. Based just on the first half... Yeah, because I've gone through this with you already.
Yep, and I'm still just completely blown away by it.
Based on the first part alone, that is technically the definition of what a grenade does. Because all you do with a grenade in a game...
They could theoretically argue that anyone using any sort of throwable object is using their patent.
Effectively.
Which, as you stated quite correctly, that this could put like a lot of future games in jeopardy.
Yeah.
depending on how they decide to act on this.
Because the other thing is,
And if they decide to try and fight it and see what they can get away with.
yeah. I mean, the other part is they've basically proven as long as you were the first to do something of this kind, you could copyright that mechanic. Meaning, do you remember Mario Kart?
Yep.
Mario Kart wasn't the first kart racer, was it?
Nope. I mean, as we very briefly went over last week, I'm sure you'll remember with what was it Dragon Quest?
Yep.
Nintendo weren't the first to a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. But it turns out the people that actually made the first ever kart racer was Sega.
Hell yeah, man.
And technically, they could copyright that and take them to court because it's their mechanic. And seeing the success of their kart racer, they can technically claim Nintendo copied it. It's the dumbest thing in the world, the fact that this is working. But the worst part is, does anyone remember parachuting in any game ever? Well, apparently Nintendo owns this. In an example of a game program, a groundboarding target object or an airboarding target object is selected by a selection operation. All this basically means is if you're on the ground or in the air, you can select an object by selection. And a player character is caused to board the selected object target selected boarding target object. You've selected the object, you'll get on it, or you'll equip it, or you'll utilize it. If the player character aboard the airboarding target object moves towards the ground, the player is automatically changed to a state where the player character is aboard the ground boarding target object. From what I understand of this, it basically just means if you're in the air, let's say hang gliding, and you're coming towards the ground, you're now going to be on the ground. Simple as that. And brought into a state where the player character can move around on the ground. Basically, what they've copyrighted there is the utilization of hang gliders. Which
what I wanted to ask you whenever we were discussing this previously is, if you look at Dying Light and how they have a wingsuit, is that also? Do you think that is also considered?
I mean,
because it's
you're
the same sort of mechanic, but
yeah.
it's done in a different way because it's not a hang glider.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but nowhere in here does it actually state hang glider. This is the issue
Well,
with
as
being
we said,
vague.
they love to put as little information in as possible.
Don't get me wrong. Down here, there probably is, but
yeah, you gonna read through that?
No, thank you.
Then again, I suppose there's always the search function, but what if you try that? What if you search the page for hang glider and see if it
I
comes
just
up?
did.
Well,
nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about glide? What about glide?
Tried that too. Absolutely zilch. So yeah. If that is correct, in that regard, a wingsuit would technically be covered. A parachute would technically be covered, even though Nintendo wasn't the first to utilize this mechanic. Not in a long shot, were they? My only worry is if Nintendo do win this, what sort of precedent is it going to
Realistically, it doesn't even matter if they win this round. It just depends if they decide to act on some certain things.
That's the thing. And who's the other part is how many like crappy little cash grab games can suddenly claim, oh yeah, so we actually use this mechanic first. We've got a patent for it because no one else
I don't
did.
think any of those would really have a right to anything.
You'd hope not.
My more worry would be how quick would game industry fall when we can no longer have very
Indie
small
games.
team of developers making indie games, exactly.
Yeah,
Because that is where a lot of games come from, or even just a lot of ideas and inspiration. Someone's tried to do this, someone else has saw and be like, "Oh, I'd like to try that," and done it, and ended up doing it better, and it just repeats itself from there until we end up with AAA games.
exactly.
Or sorry, quadruple A.
Fuck off. So let's see what this apparent expert in the industry thinks. Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocket Pair is unlikely to do any major damage to the Palworld developer. That's good news, a patent expert told GameRant, but Pocket Pair still seem to be facing a long and arduous legal battle against Nintendo. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company filed a joint lawsuit against Palworld developer on September 18th. The complaint submitted in the Tokyo District Court, that's the negative. They filed this in Japan, where they know they have the highest likelihood of success. Alleges that Pocket Pair's hit survival crafting game infringes on a number of their patents. The details of the lawsuits have yet to be made public. This is where it turns out there's even more patents that we don't even know about.
Oh, without a doubt, there's gonna be.
Oh, yeah. Nintendo's lawsuit may not have far-reaching consequences for Palworld, but how about everyone else?
Yeah.
Reflecting on this turn of events, veteran patent analyst Florian Muller told GameRant that he doesn't expect the case to have international consequences. At most, Nintendo will do some damage in Japan, but probably not outside. He opened the first of these consequences might have already materialized on September 24th, when Palworld was shadow dropped for the PS5 in 68 countries, but not Japan. That's interesting.
You see, they say they expect it won't, but if it goes the way it does, and then Nintendo's like, "Oh, we can make even more money doing this,"
Yep, that's the
then
concern.
then what?
A recent tweet from Pocket Pair saw the company acknowledge that the PlayStation version of the game currently lacks a release date for its home market, albeit without outright stating that Nintendo's lawsuit is the reason for this. Nintendo must prove more than infringement to win against Pocket Pair. Japanese IP attorney, I'm not going to try and say your name because I don't want to butcher it, as previously pointed to a
Common theme with
Nintendo.
you.
You what, sorry?
It's a common theme with you.
Yeah, I know. Previously pointed to a Nintendo patent for creature capture mechanics as possibly being related to the Palworld lawsuit. Muller told GameRant that this is a plausible theory, while noting that the case itself won't turn on infringement as much as validity. Because the first thing that will come into question is whether the intellectual property central to the litigation is a patent eligible right. Okay. If they can't prove that they should actually be able to patent that, then anyone would be able to do it. Only because the Japanese Patent Office granted those patents doesn't mean that they couldn't be revoked or narrowed. It's not like Palworld infringes left, right, and center on numerous IPs. They probably infringe on nothing that can withstand a serious court review. Now that is interesting.
That honestly sounds like good news. That sounds
It is.
possible. Sounds like if whoever oversees the case decides that Nintendo are just being a bunch of money grabbing assholes, which is nothing new,
Yeah, I mean,
they can not only just deny their case and just completely shut them down and trying to do it, but they can also stop them from doing it in the future and stop them from patenting complete and utter bullshit.
which would be amazing news.
Which would definitely be amazing news because it would put our entire worry just into the ground. We wouldn't need to worry about the future of games being at stake because Nintendo won a few extra quid.
Yeah, personally, I'd quite like that. So Japan, for once, please, do this, correct?
Unfortunately, this is always the case. This is why, as people say, we can't have nice things because
Yeah,
there's always someone who wants more.
exactly. So, Mueller noted that talking about potential outcomes of the case will be easier once its details are made public. Let's see when all the specifics are on the table, but it's not like Palworld infringes left, right, and centre on numerous IPs. They probably infringe on nothing that can withstand a serious court review, he opened. The details of this case are not something that, are something not even Pocket Pair was notified about in advance, having said as much in its initial response to Nintendo's Palworld lawsuit. Mueller said that Nintendo's decision not to give Pocket Pair the courtesy of reviewing the complaint before announcing it publicly is not unusual for a company that's on a warpath and wants to come across as hostile. Patent disputes in Japan commonly take between 12 and 18 months to reach a first instance verdict, assuming that they aren't settled beforehand. Mueller believes that Nintendo may be more interested in pursuing its complaint to completion rather than prioritizing damages. He said as much in a recent tweet, which also saw him predict that the case is more likely to last 5 years than to be settled during the first. Interesting.
Well, I could believe.
Yeah, I can see Nintendo try to take it all the way, though. They're the type of people that would.
It's not like we dislike Nintendo either. It's just the way they do things.
I don't dislike Nintendo as developers. As developers, I respect their talent because bloody hell, they do good work. No one can say they don't.
I mean, I think one of the best purchases I got for my partner was the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. But
absolutely loves it.
Their corporate structure, on the other hand, can't stand them. So, the next topic for today.
Before we move on, I have one question for you.
Oh, go on.
We all knew a case between Nintendo and Palworld was inevitable.
Yeah.
Now, yes, we went over last week how realistically they don't have the right because people could very easily say they've copied Dragon Quest, which you could definitely agree with.
Yeah.
But did you think that the lawsuit that would end up happening between the two of them would be this, of all things?
No. To be honest, I never thought there would be a day that we'd see patent infringement based on game mechanics being a thing.
And we're not even talking like an actual game mechanic that they made up that's like a really unique case or like something that's genuinely like they made. We're talking basic game mechanics here. Yeah. Throwing an object.
Don't get me wrong, that does go a bit further into the details for that sort of thing. But at the same time, the part that kind of gets me the most about it is that for some reason they've decided, well, no, I kind of get it. They decided to move away from the design of the creatures because they knew they couldn't make that right with the fact that they took inspiration from another company themselves. So they knew that was a loss. They couldn't win that one because Square Enix owned Dragon Quest. They couldn't really pull that too far. But game mechanics wise, they thought, well, no one's really done this before, which is technically true, but they have in other ways. There's been other things, like bloody Digimon and all this sort of stuff, but they were in massive lawsuits. Nintendo just don't like copiers. And that's the thing. I never expected to go to patent, though. I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, they definitely caught us off guard.
Like, the moment they recognized they couldn't do it, they were like, yeah, fuck it, we're going for it. We're going all out. But the fact that a company has made them actually have to show their hand in full is impressive. Yeah. I've got to admit. I don't think I've ever seen a company do it.
Accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
Since their release.
First company to make Nintendo actually show their full hand. It's like, oh shit, okay, we're going for
But
it.
is it really their full hand though? What else do they have?
That's the question now. What comes next? So, I guess we'll be covering this for the next couple of years then. So,
don't even say that.
So a bit of an older coverage for something I never even knew happened, and I'm so gutted that I missed it. So, to give context, going back a long time here, back during my prime PC days, 2016 onwards.
Yeah, he's an old man now.
Yeah, I know, right? The worst part is, I joined in 2009, I think it was. I played Minecraft for a couple of years, and then I got a Steam account. That's way over 10 years ago since I've joined PCs, and that feels weird.
Back then, though, Minecraft was so much simpler.
Oh
so
yeah,
much more enjoyable.
I remember playing Technic Pack all the time. It was one of my favorite things to do.
See, that's the crazy part. You were playing mod packs. I was playing vanilla Minecraft on console for 5 to 7 years.
Yep.
I remember being on the same world, that limited size world, just on with a few friends and just enjoying it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be doing anything in particular. You were just going around doing random bits and bobs, and that's all you needed.
See, I joined back when Minecraft was still in alpha, so there was no creative mode or anything like that. It was just survive. It was mental.
I do remember the pretty much starting days. When you'd have this tiny block of an area, you'd have some sugar cane that did nothing. You just had it. Just had random bits and bobs.
To be honest, it was always kind of infinitely generating world.
In a sense, yeah.
And to be honest, it was the more recent versions that actually ended up limiting the world generation. Which is kind of mad to think about.
Yeah.
But Bukkit, back in the old days, was a plugin manager, basically. You'd install it to your server, for your Minecraft server, and you can install plugins like /kit. That would be a plugin that you'd install, or the roles, so you could see who the server owner is, and things like that. Anyways, Bukkit was the most utilized, to the point where there was actually an entire website dedicated for it. I'll see if I can still find it. Bukkit. Do you still have the... Yeah, Bukkit's website actually still exists. So this is where a lot of people would get their Minecraft plugins from. As you can see, it's still used. But you can't get the initial Bukkit thing anymore, because it no longer exists, and CurseForge kind of took over Bukkit itself in the end. So, what actually happened to Bukkit? Because I never remember it disappearing, but I didn't use it often enough to be able to recall this. So I found out.
He did some digging.
I watched a video. It was a long video, but holy crap. It was satisfying. So, neither Bukkit was shut down due to Wesley Wolf. And Wesley, God bless you, sir. Just bloody hell. Yeah, it's definitely not fair at all for you to claim it was Wesley, but I'll get into this. So what happened? It's basically, for years, Bukkit was what's called an open source piece of software. Now, an open source software is just a piece of software that anyone can contribute to. There's no real owner. You just do what you do.
There's no giant corporation controlling every movement.
Yeah. Anyone can download it. It's completely free to do. No, everyone gains equal. Now, what happened? 2 people got taken from the Bukkit team, and they were 2 of the originals. So Mojang hired them. And they were like, yeah, cool, perfect. Sign this contract. Happy days. Now, eventually, the owner of Bukkit decided, look, I'm done. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't earn anything from it. I've not got the time to keep it up to date anymore. I'm done updating it. At which point, Jeb, with his snide remarks, decides to comment back. Little does he seem to remember is that Mojang actually owns this now, and has done for the last 2 years, at which Mojang told no one until that day. Now, how did they get this secret ownership? Turns out the two people they hired had pretty decent copyright ownership on the Bukkit systems. So they decided that in their basically contract to join the company, that they would add a little clause that said you hand over your copyright ownership of Bukkit to us. So Mojang
Read the small writing.
Yeah, you always read the small print. So Mojang owned Bukkit basically in the end.
Nice small print. That disappointed everybody. Shit.
So when this happened, as I said, it was open source, so everyone contributed. But a certain guy called Wesley Wolf wasn't very happy about this, because he didn't want a big company like Mojang to be profiting from his software. At the end of the day, he contributed because it was for the best of everyone. He didn't want them earning from that. So
that's the issue, though. Like, if they just took over and didn't earn anything from it, there probably wouldn't have been any issue.
Yeah.
But when it comes to big companies, we all know where it goes, and it always becomes about what they can make off of it.
Exactly. Now, what they decided to do in return for this was Wesley decided to copyright his own work that he developed for Bukkit and have all the important pieces of code he ever applied into that software removed, instantly breaking Bukkit. Now, thankfully, at that time, Spigot and Paper was in existence. Spigot had been around for 2 years at that point, so it was a quick and easy switch over. Things worked pretty well. But yeah, how fun, how delightful. But yeah, that's not fair.
What a power move, though.
Oh yeah, just turned around to an entire company and went, hey, you don't own shit. And I fully respect that. Oh dear, my voice sounds more and more awful by the minute. It's dreadful. I am okay, I just sound like shit.
Y'all get.
I know, right? But yeah, that was something I never actually heard about back when it happened. And I was so good that I was like, I need to mention this. It's just insane. So we're going to cover a little bit about...
If you think about it, though, if Bukkit hadn't went down,
yeah,
odds are it would be in Spigot's place still.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been replaced with anything. It would have kept going. And Mojang ended up owning it. And all these mod packs you can get for free.
Yep.
How would that have changed? Like, how much money would you have to pay just to be able to get on a server, let alone anything else, let alone make stuff, run stuff?
Well, you
anything.
See, that's where I think Mojang kind of learnt its lesson a bit. Well, I'd like to say it did, but it didn't. And you can see
We've seen,
because...
though, that whilst most corporations and big companies, and especially the CEOs who are literally getting rid of employees so they can take more money, as we covered loads this year, there are some that don't do that.
Yeah, we have.
And there are companies that do good. Look at Helldivers 2, doing their best to keep the game the way the players want, but also, like, obviously not just straight up saying no to Sony because they can't do that. They're a great example.
they've actually fixed it again.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep doing this, but they keep breaking the game and then fixing it. I don't even know how.
But that's just one example of the fact that there are actually companies that will do the right thing, or at least are capable of doing the right thing.
Yeah, capable. But to answer your question,
it's easier said than done, I would say, for a lot of them, because the likes of Helldivers have Sony breathing down the back of their necks. They can't just do whatever they want, unfortunately.
See, to answer the question you asked, though, you cannot charge to get access for a server as part of the Mojang EULA. You also cannot charge for like loot box items, stuff like that. It's against the EULA. Lots of servers do it, but you shouldn't. And you shouldn't charge for items, I believe it is the other thing. But there's some irony to this, because you can charge to create a server, which Mojang do as well, because they've got their Realm system. Which, if I recall correctly as well, their Realm system works on minigames. Which, if that's correct, isn't that them charging for mechanics?
I don't know. All I knew for Realms is, obviously with Windows Edition of Minecraft, you literally just it goes off of your own host. The way it would on console, like if you ran the world, people would join your connection.
Yeah.
And obviously on Java Edition, we can't do that. It's only LAN play unless you make a server. I think that was their version of trying to get a multiplayer, was doing Realms. And that essentially just meant if you want to play your own world without making a server, you just had to pay them, which kind of shit way to go about it.
Yeah.
I never even cared slightly for Realms.
Neither did I.
Because you would literally just go on a random server that's not just vanilla.
Yeah. Well,
and have more fun, and it was only ever for a small period of time, so it's not worth paying the money for a Realm server.
It was like a month, if I recall. But
yeah, and you don't even really play Minecraft for a month anymore.
No, it's like 2 weeks at most.
If that, for me, to be honest. I always get the want to play it, and then you get into it, and it feels like so much work to do anything.
Yep, I know that feeling. Every few weeks, we lovingly package up new maps, minigames, and experiences made by the communities and make them freely available to Minecraft players on the Java edition of Realms. So yes, they
but
technically
it's not free.
lock.
You have to pay for Realms.
Exactly. Honestly, if there's one thing this podcast has done that I am proud of, it's the fact that we've actually got to the point now where it's constantly said whenever there's a subscription service, it's not free. You can't claim it's free. You're paying for access. That is one thing I'm happy about.
But it's true though, because you literally, we can't go and just play those right now if we wanted to, because we don't have Realms.
Exactly.
And to get Realms, we have to pay. Ergo, it's not free.
Exactly. It's just an addition to the subscription.
Yeah, which then could be theoretically argued that you're paying for a service that isn't fully complete.
Yeah. Which is most services technically.
Which is all services. That's all they want. They promise more, but don't care as long as you hit that subscribe button and give them money every month instead of one full payment.
Exactamundo. So, let's do some quick fire, shall we?
Go ahead.
Deadlock's new anti-cheat system.
Oh yes.
This is what it does, which I think is hands down the greatest thing to do to a cheater.
At this point, though, are people just gonna cheat on this game just so they can hop around as a frog?
That depends if the other side decides to agree.
That's true.
You know what I do have to ask though, because I've not actually checked, so I'm curious. SteamDB, and Deadlock, because this is in beta. Oh, we still can't. Oh, there it is. Oh. So the game's not even out yet. It's in beta access.
Yep, that's
and this is a hero shooter.
Maybe Concord could take some advice.
Well, speaking of Concord, Concord's currently having PlayStation's having its Concord tax. I don't know if you heard about this, but Sony has doubled the price for Horizon Zero Dawn after revealing the PS5 remaster.
Like the cost of the game?
Yes.
To buy it? To play it?
Yeah.
What?
They doubled the price after revealing the price. I actually think it was... Oh, let's have a look. Oh, here we go. So we can pull this up. Unfortunate thing discovered initially by Game bumped the price of Horizon Zero Dawn on its digital storefront a day later, while having it set for about £16 or $20 for quite some time. Purchasing it right now will cost you $40 or £35.
Ridiculous.
That is insane. So yeah,
I mean, they're not going to make much money off of it because, as we saw, the PS5 Pro didn't even sell out like every other console does every time a new console's released.
Yeah, way too true on that one.
Because it's just a joke. It's like the main reason you would want to get the PS5 Pro is because it can run a lot more, a lot better, or at least so they say.
Yeah.
How many console gamers? The whole point of a console, as we've went over before, is it's more convenient. It's easier to pick up and play. You go jump on for a few rounds, and that's it.
Yeah.
How many people get a console to play games that are demanding to run? You would just go to PC because the games that are demanding to run, you're sitting playing them at 30 frames on a console.
You know, once upon a time, that would be very correct. But for some fucking reason, even though they used to scream at us PC players all the time that graphics aren't everything and this, that, and the other, and that doesn't matter.
Graphics aren't everything, but in a game that's meant to be graphically pleasing.
My favourite one was always, the human eye can only see 24 FPS. Yes, but it can notice smoothness if it's higher. But they didn't care. That was their argument for 30 FPS and all this. These were the arguments for many years. Once they got a console that could actually go above 30 FPS, all of a sudden all those arguments didn't exist. And still don't. Apparently they were never said.
60 frames still isn't even that good.
Yeah, I know, right?
But and it's not like they hold a consistent 60 either.
Oh, no. Not in the slightest. They say it's 60 FPS, but let's be brutally honest here. They struggle to keep FPS at 60.
When you're in the main menu.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing about it. This is what they used to say. This is what they say now. And it's like, once upon a time, you would be right. They would not give two flying fucks about an intensive game. They just want it to be fun, which is the right way to think. I'm with them. But nowadays, all they can really claim is the old, good old, yeah, well, it's just convenient. I mean, all I have to do is click this big button and my PC turns on. I log in.
It's not even a big button. Mine is like...
Mine's a big white button.
The end of my pinky is just barely bigger than my power button.
My thumb's bigger.
Yeah, oh no, my thumb's definitely bigger.
My thumb is just bigger. Anyway.
Okay, Jesus.
But the thing about it, that's all I've got to do. Press that button, log in, open Steam, press a game, hit play.
You have to navigate through an awful menu trying to find your game, or only have like 4 games installed because you've got one COD game on your system that takes up 90% of your storage.
Give me a second. I've got a great way to imitate this. So we're doing this the proper way, yeah?
Is that your console starting up?
This is my big picture. I've got to wait for. Oh, there we go. My controller's in. So yeah. What game? What game we wanted to play?
Stop! It looks awful. Stop!
Yeah, none of us really check this place out very often. Oh, that's how many games I've got.
I've never looked at big picture mode.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. Steam Deck does it better. But yeah, this would be the equivalent, I guess.
Yeah.
Except there's one major thing. This does it quicker.
Doesn't it just?
Like, how quick I was able to jump in and out of that was actually kind of... I'm actually kind of shocked, actually, how well that did. I expected that to be kind of funny, but no, that was actually quite fast.
It's almost like, other than its marketplace, Steam works brilliantly.
Yeah, I know, right? Deadlock anti-cheat system. Yep, we've covered that below, and that's fucking fantastic. Oh, we're here.
Ah, yes. Just what Rory was wanting to talk about.
I'm just going to torture you all with this. Yeah. I showed Will this yesterday.
Just flashes to it, man. It's gross.
It's a flashbang, okay?
It's not even like bold text either. It's like when you change your PC's fucking...
Right. I might get a virus.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to get a virus. Okay. That's better. Okay.
That's what we started with. Honesty. Yeah, that's a good start, guys.
Okay, so... Oh, that's different to what it was 2 seconds ago. Anyways, so we'll cover Fntastic's plan for recovery, everyone. Because apparently they're coming.
Yeah.
2.0, the plan for recovery. Principles. Honesty. From now on. Well, that's a terrible way to start. Bad. Our development and marketing will be based on the principle of honesty. Good for you. I hope that goes so well. We commit to building trust within our community through direct and honest communication. Feels like you're just repeating what that said. We commit to openly communicating the challenges we face without concealing any details. Literally the same as that. All aspects of our marketing will remain clear and transparent and free from embellishments. Literally what this is saying here. What the hell? Transparency. We understand the mistakes and absence of past communications. We commit to ensure transparency in development and openly providing honest and comprehensive information. Do you really, though? That's all I've got to ask. We will actively engage with the community on our platforms, particularly Discord, to ensure everyone is informed and involved. We will provide regular development progress reports to keep the community updated at every stage of our work. Before the official release of any product, we will offer free open betas and early testing to gather feedback and ensure the highest quality.
Sorry, let's go back to honesty and talk about if they're going to be honest about their asset flip that they're making.
See, I'd like to say that, but then I also need to quickly just cover this guy. So there's a guy I follow called Big Fry. And you know how they're coming back preaching honesty and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, they decided to block him day one. Yeah, just because he called them out.
Well, I don't think they're gonna need a whole team dedicated to blocking people. Then
I'm actually kind of shocked that I'm not.
They're gonna end up with more and more people calling them out.
Yeah,
especially once people have access to playing the game they're gonna make.
I mean,
do they have access?
Through a technicality.
I know it's on Steam. We looked at it, but yeah, I suppose you got the demo, haven't you?
Through a technicality, we have the demo that we can run. So, professionalism. We are transitioning from a volunteer-driven approach to one firmly rooted in professionalism. This is something we didn't touch on last time we covered these guys, because it was just everything was happening at that time. But it turns out most of their workforce was actually volunteers. Volunteers who were not paid a penny and was pretty much forced. It was effectively slavery. It truly was. It was awful.
I mean, the game was awful.
Exactly. You expected the staff who didn't want to be there to actually care.
Yeah.
Our objective is to gather industry professionals and specialists and improve our existing employees' skills.
No one is going to join your company after that. Well, no one wants to have that on their next resume.
No. We will continuously raise all standards and practices, aspiring to become the company that earns your trust and admiration.
I'd actually sort of forgotten what the day before was. And then I suddenly saw a clip of it on TikTok earlier of the third person running through a dead city. And there's just one thing where, like, their head sticking out of the ground. They shoot the head once. It flies up into the air, and these enormous, glitchy, spazzing out, stretching across the map legs start flying around while it just zooms off into the sky.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm not even sure what was meant to happen.
So, apparently, Fntastic 2.0 strategic objectives from 2024 to 2025. Strengthen community engagement. Active community engagement in the development process.
They had a lot of community engagement, no?
Yeah, everyone fucking shit on them. It was great. Well, we all came together and bonded as a community on our hatred of you. It was fantastic. We loved it. Raise development.
Good came from them after all.
Yeah. Raise development standards.
Well, they can't exactly lower them.
Yeah, you've got a point. A key objective is the commitment of delivering high-quality, innovative games that meet or exceed community expectations. Well, the community expectations is currently the equivalent of a shit on the floor. Literally anything goes up from there. Bloody hell. This is funnier than I thought it would be. Expand professionalism. The professional development environment will be radically enhanced.
Given the last game, the condition of it, and as we just said about the community coming together and shitting all over it, they're currently at 0% professionalism. So yeah, only nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go but up.
Oh, optimal working conditions. Amazing. No more slavery. Enhanced.
They're taking a page out of Concord now, and they're going to get pizza parties every night.
I like it. Enhanced brand identity. The last time you guys tried brand identity, you fucking just abandoned the game, left Twitter, left everything, and just disappeared.
There's another case of they took the money and ran, which is what their next game is.
Continuous improvements. Actually, that's a good question. Did you guys manage to pay back the people that you owed money to who had to pay for the refunds out of their own pockets?
I actually saw something. Can you go to your favorite website for me? And just go to the day before, because I think it's still up here. Is it? Or is it gone? No. Yeah.
No one's in, obviously.
Look at how many players they actually had though.
38,104.
Now compare that to Concord.
Wait a minute, what? What the? How?
That's the developer on there. Trying to see where they went wrong.
Well, as you can see,
Well, here's a graph showing where you went wrong.
What I love is it starts so high, releases, drops by like 30,000 people. Studio shuts down, 158. Then 2,
the fact, though,
then 1,
that
and then
they
the
had
server shut
as
down.
many players as they had.
Yeah. So let's just check that against Concord, as you said.
Imagine the mess of refunds.
How? Guys, the game is gone. The servers are gone.
There's just 2 people on there 1v1ing.
The servers aren't there anymore. So yeah, 697. The thing is, everyone liked the day before and wanted to believe in it because of what it could be. Continuous improvements. Once again, you abandoned your last game. The chances of that happening are slim to 0. The new Fntastic brand.
It's already not looking good for their current game because it's already being discovered as an asset flip.
We'll be covering that shortly. Yeah.
So I have no faith in this game, and I don't really see them having another chance after this.
No,
if they did, though, and they actually did something that like brought them back, it was genuine, and as they're saying they wanted to be, it was honest. I would take every word that we have said in this recording back and before this recording. But with how they've went about the day before and how they're already going about this game, the fact that it's being found out as what it is, I can't see much more coming from them, other than just another failure and then disappearance for good this time. Hopefully, if it goes poorly.
I'd like to believe so, Will, but then they've spent an entire page talking here about the new Fntastic brand, how amazing it looks. It's just the
vibrant blue logo.
Yeah,
don't forget that bit.
It signifies.
Can we get a
the
background that doesn't hurt my eyeballs?
Yeah.
Literally, you open that page again.
Elements.
You literally open this page again, and you were right. I literally got flashbanged. Like,
yeah.
I flinched when you opened it.
Wait.
Do you want some ice cream?
Yeah, please, man. Every time. It took a week off last week. It was great.
I swear I don't pay him.
Mission and vision. Our mission is to create games that will be loved for decades. The
mission is to blind me. Holy shit. I think I'm going to have a headache after this.
That's fine. It's only after. But don't worry, we're almost there. Our vision is to become one of the most...
Can you force dark mode? Is that a thing? Fuck.
No.
It hurts. It genuinely hurts. Dark mode exists for a reason because it's wonderful.
I'm fully with you. It's great.
Honestly, the blue is nicer than the white.
Well, you know what then? We'll just
leave it permanently highlighted.
Yeah, just give me a sec. There we go. So our vision is to become one of the most loved game companies by creating fantastic, innovative, and emotionally engaging experiences.
Is that not the point of creating games?
Oh, this is it. The plan for recovery. That's it.
We're done?
So, yeah, we're done with that.
Oh, okay, fucking dark mode this shit. My head hurts.
Do I even have dark mode? I used to have a dark mode extension, but I don't think I do anymore.
You can't... What browser are you on? Oh, you're on...
Yeah, I use this just for
I forget. Literally, you can just right-click a page and force
it's Fntastic.
No, we don't like Fntastic.
There you go.
Oh, I can, my eyes can rest.
Literally, an instant extension. How great is that?
Woo.
Oh, look, that pledge got removed.
They probably saw his reply to you.
Yeah, probably. I'll be covering that momentarily, but basically there was someone who had actually pledged the highest amount.
Let's get some context here first. So what this page is?
Oh yeah, this is Fntastic's way of returning. They've got this shitty little game called Escape Factory,
which, as I said a moment ago, it is already being discovered to be an asset flip.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
not
get
even
me
sure
wrong. If they paid for a few assets and made a game like what they're making that was more unique and wasn't like so close to Fall Guys,
here it is.
I could get behind it. But I don't think that's how it's going to go.
Oh, I already have it open. Data miners found code in the Escape Factory's demo from a Unity code demo. Escape Factory allegedly used assets and code similar to the day before, raising concern among gamers. Fntastic's attempt to regain gamers' trust with Escape Factory's crowdfunding may be in jeopardy due to asset flipping.
The second bullet point you can understand. They're going to reuse stuff they've made already.
Yeah.
Like if it's actually going to assist and not make the game crash and burn faster, sure.
Yeah. But the first one,
honestly, what hurts most, right? When you see what they're saying about this game, it sounds like it could be brilliant. 48 players, you get on with your mates, you lot. You don't have to have randoms, ideally, and you just run through the levels trying to kill each other and get to the end.
Something like that,
But the issue that we're gonna have is the developers. The idea is good, the developers are not.
On top of that,
the company behind it is not.
This is based in Singapore, so Singaporean dollars. They're wanting 20,000 Singaporean dollars.
So we're talking 11,000 sterling, 13, 14 euro.
11,500 sterling, yeah. So the reason I have to bring this up is because if we go to rewards like we did the other day, they've changed the look of it, Will.
It's not hurting my eyes, so I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Although they just added a color. There's still the same background with nothing going on. They just colored it.
Is it me, or was this very different when I showed it you yesterday?
It was.
Oh, right, no, here it is. Fucking trying to hide it. Moved it. So, 20k, games launched, secured, and Fntastics return. 50k, Steam Deck version. 100k, console version, PS5 only. So it's not console version, it's just PS5 version.
Is it available on Xbox? Surely not.
No, I doubt so. 3 DLC plus 2 new locations. 200k, Nintendo Switch version, which is also a console. 250k, each location has its own unique soundtrack. 300k, 3 DLC
which
plus 2
is
new
insane, by the way, that they need 50k to make a soundtrack for each area.
Yep. 500k, new mode. 700k, creator mode. Really? You're going to try and claim this? So, out of curiosity, Singapore dollar, as you can see, I've done this recently. What is 700,000 Singaporean dollars? 408,568 pounds. Fantastic. Fuck off. So, yeah, to go back a little, someone had actually done the Singaporean dollar, $12,000 Meet the Fntastic Founders. And I found
it must be an American person, because he said he doesn't have the 9K, so I'm assuming $9,000.
I'd imagine so, yeah. So I actually screenshotted this because I found it had one backer and was like, what in the ever living fuck? I thought, whoever bought this, I hope for everyone's sake, you have them bowing at your feet, but goddamn, this is a waste of cash.
Is this where we find his Twitter account's been removed?
He's still here.
Really kind of funny.
Yeah, he's still here. So, more like the perfect thing to spend it on. And he actually sends proof here that, yes, he was a backer.
The backer. That's wild.
I hope they bow at your feet and treat you like they're God, which I mean, without you, they wouldn't exist as a company. So technically, No, I'm really just trolling them. Kickstarter don't charge until the campaign has reached its pledge goal. I don't got 9k to be charged, so good luck to the devs trying to get the money. I pledged to their scamming asses, lol. The fact that he scammed the scammers is, well...
I mean, now that 12k's been removed, what's their goal setting at? 16.
2,833 Singaporean dollars of 20,000.
How long has it been up for now?
4 days. 4 days sounds about right.
Surprised they have that much, to be honest.
But no, thank you, Perk, for letting me know it was you, and thank you for the entertaining discussion we had on that. That was hilarious. This was something I have to mention as well, now that we've finally moved away from that bit. Actually, no, we'll finish this. So, apparently, the code that they found was, from the Escape Factory's demo, was Unity demo code, which is a bit insane. Data miners have since dug into the demo and aren't happy with what they found. Twitter user Bisma shared a lengthy thread on the official Steam forums revealing their findings of asset flipping and free code being implemented in the demo. According to Bisma, the code used for the game's networking and lobby and matchmaking is taken from a free Unity demo code that can be downloaded from GitHub and is intended to be used for learning to create multiplayer games, not actual launch products.
That's crazy.
That's mental. You disappear for so long, expecting that you're going to be absolutely penalized when you return, yet you still stole code. I love it.
You
can't
really steal it if it's free, Rory.
Oh yeah, true, obviously. So the official PC Master Race Twitter account, which of course I follow, many major journalistic outlets have been claiming for years that PC gaming is either dead or dying, which is fairly accurate. It happens a lot. Meanwhile, PC gaming is stronger and more alive than ever, and this is only one single client.
Dead.
You what?
It's dead.
Yeah, it's definitely dead. It recently passed its all-time concurrent players, surpassing 38 million users. If I actually go to Steam's... No, for a change, I actually didn't want to use Steam DB. I just wanted Steam.
No, don't say such things, Rory.
I know it's unusual, but I actually just wanted to get on Steam. I think it's if you go to... There it is. I don't know what it is about this page, but whenever you go to it...
Why are there 25 million people online and not doing anything?
There's 36 million.
Yeah, but there's 11 million playing.
Oh,
so there's 25 million people just have Steam on for no reason.
I mean, a lot of us, though, just leave it open in the background. Like,
yeah,
at the moment...
they might be playing like an Epic Games or Blizzard or something like that.
I am one of these. But, yeah, like... Multilingual, purchase made easy, controller support, early access to games, available on mobile, Steam Workshop,
they have everything.
Steam Chat, Game Hub, Steam Broadcast. Like, there's not much that Steam doesn't do. So, yeah.
Portal, by the way, is there?
Yeah. Yeah, Portal's always going to be there. It was beloved. Scummy, the old digital future is going to suck. They raised the price from $20 to $40. Also, people won't buy the cheaper edition and instead persuade normies to buy the stupid, unnecessary remaster. Sounds about right. Even the scalpers didn't want the PS5 Pro, so apparently it's not sold out, which is unusual. Frog Anticheat. we've covered in plenty of detail. Remedy Entertainment has received a €15 million loan from Tencent, and I always feel concerned whenever I see Tencent. Valve and Arc Linux are collaborating, and instead of it being a passion project for all the freelancers working on it, basically now, because they're getting funding from Valve, they're able to actually make it their job, which is phenomenal in my opinion. And the reason that Valve is supporting them, this is the version of Linux that they launch, like, from what I recall, they launched their Steam Deck on things. Instead of just buying them out or doing it themselves, they've decided to actually fund them and allow them to properly create this software and this operating system to what they need it to be. Valve does nothing, wins. Valve, when they do something, absolutely amazing things. So yeah,
man, you can't say anything bad about Valve. Other than they don't make enough games. That's the only bad thing.
But we recently learned why, didn't we? If you remember the other month, we learned how many staff they have.
Yeah.
And
in fairness, if they tried to churn out more games, they would be far less quality.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
They fully go with quality over quantity. Whereas a lot of games we're seeing nowadays, especially bigger developers, are rushing games and churning out, well, garbage.
Yeah. So, last thing for today. PC gamer Steven Spielberg doesn't like using a controller.
You seemed quite happy about this earlier.
I was quite shocked. According to Max Spielberg, his famous father just can't give up his keyboard and mouse for games. I don't blame him.
So is there just a permanent master race against console war going on in this house?
I'd imagine possibly.
What a household to grow up in, man. Oh.
He loves gaming. He's the one that got me into it, said Max Spielberg. He plays games. He's a big PC gamer, and so that's kind of our bonding point as well. He's like, hey, what's good? What new Call of Duty should I be playing? Send me a list of the top 5 shooters. I'll get them downloaded and we can play them together when you come over to my house. But that sounds amazing.
Doesn't it just?
It's kind of charming that Spielberg would rather wait to play games alongside his son rather than playing online. But Max Spielberg also revealed that he's been unable to get his dad to try any console games because he's too attached to playing with the mouse and keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, and like I will always say, the freedom of a mouse is just the best.
Yeah. He's big into story games.
Will never be able to do anything like it.
And I'm always trying to get him to play Uncharted. You know, it's like Indiana Jones, you'd appreciate this. And he's always like, I can't do controllers. I only do mouse and keyboard. Good news, Spielberg. There is an Uncharted game on here. There you go. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection.
40 quid.
Yeah. A friend of mine got it me for Christmas one year.
See, only 14,000 views. I feel like I didn't do as well as the other Uncharted games. The trilogy that I remember.
Oh yeah, the originals were much better, in my opinion. But it's a pretty decent game overall. It's not bad. It's good fun. I've only played a little bit. I do need to go back and play it, but to be honest, actually, that's probably the best time to do it. I'm not very well at the moment. Probably the best thing for me to do. But yeah. That is everything actually covered. Amazingly, we've actually covered it. Took a little, but we got there.
We did.
It was definitely.
I'm sure there will be plenty of continuations from a few of the topics next week once we get more information.
Most likely, bloody Nintendo. I'm hoping they'll be quiet for like a couple of months and then come back. And then be quiet again, and then come back. And like, if we do it like that, we're fine.
Roy won't get too angry.
No promises. No promises. But what I have realised, Will, we are now just about 2 months away from the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That it is.
It doesn't feel like it's even been a month since we did our sorry. Since we did our end of year recap last year.
Yep.
Yet it's almost time to do it again. So, my challenge to you, sir, over this next 2 months is to pick out some games that you're going to put into this end of year recap.
Crap.
Good luck. Have fun. What I might also do, I'll see if there's a way to do it so that we can do some public vote to see what other people's opinions are when that episode eventually comes out. But that's by the by and down the line. Well, sorry. Illness has decided to just kick into Mark 10.
Yeah, I think the end of the episode has came at a good time.
It has indeed.
I think Rory is about to go mute.
Yeah, pretty much. So, with all that said and done then, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
See you again, guys.